All right, I want to move on to what's a bit of a good news story, provided other businesses lift their game like my next guest, because small businesses, we know, right across the country are facing the very real prospect that they may not survive shutting down their businesses for the next few months. And while the government is guaranteeing assistance to those who need it, big businesses really need to step up too and reduce hardship. A large Australian company, Commercial and General it's called, has contacted all of their small business tenants, telling them they will not be collecting any rental payments from them for the next 3 months. And they want this to be a national campaign. Jamie McClurg is the Executive Chairman of Commercial and General. He joins me now from Adelaide. This is just a wonderful story, I have to say. Terrible that we're in this situation, but a wonderful story of a company like yours with plenty of balance sheet weight leaping straight away into some action. Tell me what made you make this decision to lose money to help these small businesses.
Well, I think firstly let's start about saying this is not philanthropic. This is about business helping business. For us, suspend the rent basically came from a conversation that I had with just one of our tenants that just said, we're not going to survive. And so we turned our minds to that within our office and said, look, well, we're part of the property industry, and the property and construction industry accounts for about 1 in every 4 jobs in Australia. So we just took a notion that said, unless people have certainty and unless people are going to feel the comfort of that and the comfort that they're going to come back to businesses, then the property industry is going to face a substantial issue by the time it gets to the other end of the health crisis and moving through from an economic position to move forward.
And of course, we know with housing and construction, when things have gone into any sort of downturn, it does take construction a while to ramp up because of the skilled labour and the size of some of the projects. Yep. So you want to try and keep your dip as low as you can make it so that you can get out of things a little bit easier on the other side. Give me a sense of how many tenants you're talking about and what's sort of the business impact for you, because this is a big move.
Well, I think for us, it's not just about us, it's about creating an industry movement. We've seen people start to take up and have these conversations in the United States and other places just through Twitter and other mediums. But our logic is that if more landlords can do it, the more the better. If you think of a general shopping centre, you know, 1/3 of those tenants will be small business. And small business is mum and dads, they're the people that employ. And I think that the government's been very good at putting money into the pockets of small business. But we as a property industry need to be very careful about taking out of those pockets. So I think for us, it's about leave the money in. If we as an industry contribute now, the government will also make sure that we are held in the right account as life moves forward. We pay a lot of taxes. We'll see those things change, but we need to put the cash into those businesses now. So really we focused on that.
I'll just jump in there because I want to underscore that point. That is such a strong and powerful point, because we know, I think people can think 66 million or $70 billion in recent announcements going to the hands of small to medium-sized businesses. But if the big landlord's at the other end, that money doesn't really even clear the bank account. It will go straight in and out the other end to you know, bigger, larger businesses who probably can withstand this storm better than the small guys. So you're saying let the government money go in, but let them keep that for at least this 3-month period that you want to suspend the rent in this campaign.
Yeah, I think let them keep it and let's create more certainty by working together. By the time we come out of the health crisis, there's going to be another crisis, and that's the economic crisis. So how do we make people feel like they're going to have construction jobs for the future, jobs that they can go back to? So really we want to take a position that says not only tenants can feel that confidence so they can hold on, pay wages and do those sorts of things, but also in the construction industry, which is the next element that we're turning to, is how we give them the confidence to hold staff. I mean, locally, obviously in South Australia, we have a project which we've been in design for a couple of years on, and we're about to push the button. It's a $400 million comprehensive cancer centre. You know, COVID's come along just at the wrong time. But with government support, we're going to push through on that project, and that's going to give people 3 years of sustainable workflow. And it will mean that all the subcontractors that run off those types of jobs, there's 1,000 of those that are going to be employed for the next 3 years, and another $1 billion that'll add to that economy. We think that if we focus on those particular issues, that we can get a double whammy result. And as an individual with a number of other CEOs, we tend to, hold on to certain bits of information. You know, I tend to focus on the New England Institute for Complex Systems, which is a guy called Yanir Bar-Yam, and his basic philosophy is take the pain and take it early. So that's what we need to do. I think, you know, you've been speaking about that on your program lately.
Yeah, Jamie, what's been the reaction to suspend the rent? You know, the big Westfields and others, I've talked about this, about particularly restaurants and other retail tenancies who are forced to open even if they haven't got customers going through the door, although that will change obviously in some states today. What's been the reaction?
Well, I think positive obligations to trade should be removed. I think that's a very fundamental position. But the reaction is one where it's one of relief. It keeps the money there, and having that relief means that they are going to keep the pizza makers employed. They are going to sit there and make sure they can do their pressed metal work and do other things like that. And therefore they know that whilst they might have a downturn, or we might even, you know, see in the coming weeks a stoppage of enterprise altogether, that they still have some money in their pocket to keep the people employed through this time.
Well, you are a good man, Jamie McClurg, and I thank you for coming on tonight. I think we'll keep plenty of attention on this issue going forward. Suspend the rent. All the big guys need to do what they can to look after the little guys and the medium-sized enterprises in Australia, and let's all get through this together. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you.